Assassin's Creed Shadows takes us to feudal Japan, a setting that fans have dreamed of ever since the franchise first got popular. But the excitement comes together with a big controversy not only regarding the historical accuracy of the title, but also Ubisoft's terrible monetization techniques. Now, the most recent information suggests that the company is trying to save the franchise by addressing the issues that fans have had for years. In this video, I'll break down the latest news and updates regarding AC Shadows and explore whether it could be the turning point that the franchise desperately needs. Let's start off with an overview of AC Shadows and what exactly we can expect from the game. We know that the title will feature two protagonists. One of them, Naue, is a skilled shinobi focusing on stealth and quiet approaches, allowing us to experience the classic AC feel. The second character, Yasuke, is a brutal samurai focusing on louder approaches and more open, straightforward combat. From what we've seen in the trailers, it looks like you will be able to choose what character to use before each mission, which I think is a great approach, much better than letting the player choose their protagonist at the beginning of the story and having to stick with them until the end. In terms of gameplay, the game will follow a similar formula to the recent AC games with an open world and RPG elements. The map will be similar in size to Origins and is supposed to be more realistic and lively than other titles. One of the major changes in the newest game will be seasons, which will affect gameplay. Players will traverse through snowy and rainy terrains, allowing for variety in terms of stealth and combat in general. Naue will be equipped with a grappling hook, adding verticality and agility to traversal, which wasn't present in the recent games. Eagle Vision will also make a return, highlighting enemies in red and allies in orange. Also, each weapon present in the game will have its own skill tree, so players will be able to master a range of weaponry, including katanas, shuriken, and kunai. As for exploration in AC Shadows, synchronization points will return, but they will not reveal the important locations and will only serve as a vantage point to seek them out and later explore. I think it's a great approach as it will encourage more exploration from the player's side, but I also hope it will be more meaningful and offer more interesting locations than, say, Odyssey did. Alright, so let's move on to Ubisoft's current struggles with the franchise and why Shadows might be the company's last hope when it comes to saving the iconic series. A lot of fans will agree that Assassin's Creed is not what it used to be, though they differ on when the downfall exactly started. Some will claim that it began with Unity's buggy release, others will point at Origins for making a major change and shifting it to an RPG model, or Odyssey, which completely departed from the classic AC elements, to the point it is not even considered an AC game by some. What's clear though is that recent titles have not resonated with players the same way. On top of that, the terrible monetization techniques used in the most recent titles just prove how greedy the company is, and instead of giving us a full experience for $60 or $70, they monetize most aspects of the game, including DLCs that should be part of the story in the first place, or making us buy in-game currency to purchase outfits or other add-ons. The next thing is the franchise fatigue, which could be both good and bad. When the franchise was first starting out, we would get a nice blend of a historic setting with a modern-day arc, serving as a base for each title and justifying the presence of assassins and templars. After the end of Desmond Saga, the modern-day setting became much less significant, and at some point it got even locked behind DLCs, which is ridiculous to say the least. After Syndicate, Ubisoft made a change to a more exploration-focused titles like Origins, which some people, myself included, really enjoyed. But after that, the series lost the classic AC feel and just felt like another generic RPG. What's worse is that the most recent AC titles feature very similar elements to Ubisoft's other franchise, Far Cry. Both games feature a massive open world, have similar mechanics such as the synchronization points and towers, and both offer stealth and loud approaches. Now, we heard that Ubisoft plans to release 10 Assassin's Creed games in the next 5 years. We already knew of the existence of AC Jade, which is a mobile title set in ancient China, and AC Hex, which supposedly is going to be similar to the other games. There's also rumors of the Black Flag remake, which definitely will attract a lot of fans, and some multiplayer titles coming in the future. Now, while all those games might play around with the formula and offer fresh experience to fans, I am worried that Ubisoft might prioritize quantity over quality, and that those games will either get delayed multiple times or will release with a lot of technical issues, which we already seen happen in the past. So is AC Shadows set to be a failure from the start? Based on the information and the trailers we got so far, there is definitely a lot of negative to be said about it. The game is already surrounded by a big controversy regarding historical accuracy, specifically the inclusion of Yasuke, who was the first black samurai, causing dissatisfaction among both Western and Japanese fans who labeled the game as woke and inauthentic. Though the series had always blended history and fiction, with existence of artifacts like the Apple of Eden or Staff of Hermes, the choice to feature hip-hop music during Yasuke's combat further fueled the controversy, and I'm sure you can guess why. Now, I don't want to go too in depth into the controversy, as I'm sure everybody's heard about it and probably has an opinion already, but I want to briefly mention it as it definitely will affect the reception of the game. Another big factor is the setting. Despite Japan being the most requested location in the franchise, AC Shadows faces comparisons to Ghost of Tsushima, which delivered a visually stunning open world and incredible gameplay with stealth elements. While AC Shadows might differ in a lot of ways from Ghost, based on the existing footage, I fear it may struggle to match its impact or quality. It's also important to note that following the success of Ghost of Tsushima, fans have had very high expectations for Shadows, hoping for a similar experience to the Sony exclusive. With the bar set so high, I'm unsure if Ubisoft will be able to meet or exceed it. I want to also expand on the monetization model, which has been present in many Ubisoft titles in recent years. Initially, the standard edition of Shadows was going to cost $70. The Gold edition, which included a 3-day early access and the Season Pass, would cost $110. And then, if you're interested in the Ultimate Edition, which will include some skill points and skins for your characters, that would set you back $130. Now, recently Ubisoft announced that the game is delayed until February 14th and has assured that the first expansion of the Season Pass will be given out to players for free. So I don't know if they will add another mission in the pass to replace it, or if they might change it altogether. There is rumors that Season Pass has completely been scrapped, but the only official information from Ubisoft indicates that the first expansion will be given out for free, with the rest of post-launch content being unknown. Despite the removal of the Season Pass, leakers have stated that AC Shadows will feature a Battle Pass, which will be linked to the Animus Hub, an important project going forward that is supposed to link all the AC games. As per leak, the first Battle Pass is supposed to be free and contain 20 levels, including some cosmetics, materials, and ISO points, which will be the in-game currency. The next Battle Passes, however, will be paid, and this is where it gets complicated for Ubisoft's future. In my opinion, Battle Passes are a much better solution than Season Passes, but they work well in multiplayer games that are live serviced and last multiple years. However, having to pay $70 for a game that will maybe be supported for a year or two, and then on top of that making players get multiple Battle Passes to get some skins, is an awful move by Ubisoft. Now, the official post regarding the leak was taken down, and Ubisoft keeps assuring fans that there's no plans for any kind of subscription and that all Animus Hub rewards will be free. So I think we just have to wait until release to see how that will be implemented. Now, I also want to make an argument why it might not be the end of Ubisoft's franchise. The first reason is the gameplay elements. The fans wanted the game to be set in Japan, as that gives a lot of room for the existence of ninja or shinobi and the stealth gameplay, which is exactly what we're getting. As we saw in the trailers, Naue is able to quietly move through tall grass, extinguish lights to hide in the shadows, use her weapon to silently eliminate weapons from distance, and even use her grappling hook, making way for a lot of creative assassinations. Even though it's not the same stealth we have seen in the old AC games, especially as Ubisoft confirmed that social stealth will not be featured in Shadows, I think the fresh gameplay will definitely attract a lot of fans, and the game will get closer to its roots than, for example, Odyssey did. Secondly, it's Ubisoft acknowledging the problem and listening to fans. The delay of the game is definitely a great move, as Ubisoft realizes that the game is not in the state to be available to players. Probably a lot of people remember AC games releasing as buggy, such as Odyssey and Valhalla, with glitches that even prevented people from progressing in the story. If Ubisoft was to release Shadows in November as initially planned, it could have featured a lot of glitches, or be in an even worse state, so there's definitely a plus for the game. If the rumors that Season Pass is completely scrapped are true, then it is big news not just for AC Shadows, but Ubisoft as a whole. Star Wars Outlaws was heavily criticized for the pricing model, which was the same as Shadows. Moreover, a lot of Ubisoft games thrived on having Season Passes, and a lot of them including most of the AC and Far Cry games. So seeing it completely removed could mean that Ubisoft might shift its strategy. The future of AC Shadows seems kind of exciting, as we could even get more free updates than planned by Ubisoft. Recently, the company also dropped a tease for one of the game's features, specifically base building. It seems to be an evolution from the Valhalla settlement, but this one features a grid system supposedly giving us more customization options, as well as more room to play around with building our own village. Personally, it wasn't something I was expecting to be included, but it definitely is a nice addition, offering a nice distraction from the story. Finally, the series is just too iconic to die out like this. Assassin's Creed is Ubisoft's biggest franchise, and while the company struggled to make quality titles recently, the franchise is still going strong with really good sales. There is an argument that the company might be going bankrupt soon, or that it will be bought by another major gaming firm, and honestly, I can see this happen. But since Ubisoft has plans for future AC projects, I think no matter how AC Shadows performs, the franchise will still exist for the years to come. While Shadows might not yet be the end of the franchise, it definitely will be an important title. If it does bad, it will definitely affect the direction of the future games. I think only time will tell. So there you have it. Honestly, I am looking forward to AC Shadows. I love the setting and I will definitely play the title. I am also excited to see the final reception of the game and what the fans' reactions are, as it looks to be a turning point in the franchise's history. Drop your thoughts about AC Shadows in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next one.